Hello and happy Monday, everybody. Here's what's coming up tonight on Now. Maine's largest city has an even bigger problem with the disposal of drug paraphernalia than we thought. We'll tell you about that.
Here's a little inspiration to change out your contact lenses when you should. Doctors have found 27 lenses in one person's eye.
Oh, how is that possible? And the story that will just make you say, "Aw," a cute little baby seal, and how he or she was saved. We'll show you the video and talk to the fisherman who did it.
This is News Center Now. The city of Portland alone has already collected hundreds of used needles this year, but that could be a good thing.
And a lobsterman and a rescued seal pup are capturing hearts everywhere. We will hear from the man who stopped to save this cute little sea creature caught up in a fishing net. That was so cool. Hello, everybody. I am Lee Goldberg.
And I'm Amanda Hill. No secret that our state is in the midst of a heroin epidemic. We talk about it all the time, and with drugs comes drug pollution. Portland officials say the city has collected and disposed of around 700 needles so far this year, and at this rate, they'll exceed the 900 total that were collected in all of 2016.
But they're saying that more needles might not be such a bad thing after all. It could actually mean that the programs that they have in place to dispose of the needles are actually working. Jessica Gagne has more.
When these kids aren't playing, they're planting veggies.
This is Cultivating Community's youth garden.
Getting their hands dirty to grow fresh food to deliver to elderly people in the Portland community. But supervisors know that while the kids work, they might dig up something they weren't expecting.
We talk to anyone that gardens in urban spaces about being safe and always knowing that there's a potential to find a needle.
Especially when the number of needles found in Portland seems to be on the rise. 900 total last year, and this year 700 in just 7 months.
I'm not sure if those numbers, speak to the fact that the epidemic is any worse. I think everybody will still agree that we are still in the midst of an epidemic, and there's a whole, host of things that we're doing across the city to address that.
2 years ago, the city started placing sharps containers next to trash cans in parks and near playgrounds to encourage safe disposal of sharp objects. There's also a phone number and an app that residents can use to report a needle sighting, and a city worker will come and properly dispose of it. Officials say the 700 needles that have been collected so far this year come from those programs, which are in place to help keep public areas safe.
We'd rather have them collected in a safe manner. We don't want other people coming into contact with them. We also have the city's needle exchange, which is a one-for-one exchange program. So that really is a way to get people in and talk to them about other services.
The city says if they see a significant spike in the number of needles collected by the end of this year, they will reevaluate their approach. In the meantime, those who play in public spaces should be cautious and call if something sharp shows up. In Portland, Jessica Gagne, News Center.
And you can report needles through the Fix It Portland app, and that is available for Apple and Google users. You can also report them on the city's website or by calling 874-9493. There are also needle exchange programs like the one on India Street in Portland all over the state. Wow, that escalated quickly. Most are local hospitals. You can find a full list through the Maine Department of Health and Human Services. Hi.
I was going to say, what happened there?
I think that we scared the viewers, and we suddenly just went to black. So.
We did. We did. Well,
but we're back just in time.
Just in time for Keith.
To see Keith, because it's really all about him.
The things you guys will do to avoid me. It's
right.
It's getting a little extreme, to be honest with you. We got some thunderstorms out there. We're getting some comments on Facebook about them, and there's some nasty ones moving through the mountains here and through western Maine. Start across northern Maine where there's a couple of good storms here. Look at this. This is pretty cool. These are outflow boundaries from these thunderstorms, that cooler, denser air being pushed down. You can see it on radar. These thunderstorms will continue just moving to the north and west of Holton. This storm right here is pretty nice, coming out of Bethel. Reports and pictures of some small hail there, non-severe sized hail, but still some hail moving through. Probably just going to clip to the west there of Rumford along Route 2, and then we've got some more thunderstorms up here. They'll stay clear, it looks like, probably to the north and west of Eustis, but along 27 we're going to get battered with these storms as the night goes on. So the thunderstorms continue through the mid part of the evening, at least. Here we're at 11 o'clock, still storms over far western Maine. Coastline shouldn't get many of these, though. They kind of die out. Tomorrow is very similar to today in that we start with some low clouds and some fog. The middle part of the day is pretty decent, and then some showers and thunderstorms pop up tomorrow afternoon, probably less of them than today. And then, guys, after that, the story is going to be a little heat coming our way for mid to late week.
All right, sir, thank you very much. Check with you in a minute. Now, Maine State Police are on the scene of a standoff in Lincoln. Route 2 is currently blocked off near Mohawk Road and Station Street. Details are limited right now. Tennyson Coleman is on the scene. We'll have more for us tonight on News Center at 6 o'clock.
A lot of you are sharing and talking about a post from the Buxton Police Department. It's a photo of a dog that looks malnourished. The post says they're trying to locate the owner. We called the Buxton Police Department. They say right now their priority is finding that owner. And they have opened a lost dog investigation. According to police, the dog was found about a week ago and is being cared for by a veterinarian.
Several schools in northern Maine want to consolidate. The Maine Department of Education says it's narrowed down 7 applications to 3 finalists for the integrated high school facility pilot. Schools in the Fort Kent area, the Dexter area, and the Holton area have all been chosen. Their final application is due at the end of the year. This pilot program is part of the governor's effort to cut overhead costs in education.
All right, still to come on now. She didn't think this injured bird had a chance of survival, but today she released him back into the wild. The story of compassion for animals in just a few minutes.
Plus, people who wear contact lenses, do you take them out when you're supposed to? This story will scare you into doing exactly what the doctor says. That's when we come back.
If you own an older home in Maine, there's a chance a dangerous amount of lead could be hidden in the paint or the fixtures.
After decades of studying lead poisoning, experts have found that no amount of lead at all is safe, but it's difficult to accurately measure small amounts in the bloodstream. The Centers for Disease Control is calling for improvements in blood lead testing in children. About a third of devices used for blood level measurements last year were contaminated by other sources of lead. The CDC is now recommending ways that laboratories, doctors, and manufacturers can achieve more precise measurements for blood lead. Okay, this is gross. If this doesn't motivate you to get your contact lenses out in a timely manner, I do not know what will.
I don't wear contact lenses, do you?
I do, and oh my gosh.
Okay, doctors in England claim they discovered 27 contact lenses in a woman's eye as they prepped her for cataract surgery.
Gosh.
They say the lenses were all clumped together. The 67-year-old had worn monthly contact lenses for 35 years, but rarely visited the eye doctor. They say this is a reminder to take out your lenses and make sure you go for regular eye exams. That is horrifying.
I don't even know how that's possible. All right, big news for our local newspapers. The owner of the Portland Press Herald will buy Media Group. That includes the daily paper, the Sun Journal. The announcement was posted to the Portland Press Herald's website. Reed Browers, the Press Herald owner, says that he plans for all Sun Media Group papers to stay operational. The Portland Press Herald is a media partner of News Center.
Today is apparently World Emoji Day, a time to share and celebrate your favorite digital emoticon or icon. Emoji Day is July 17th because the calendar emoji is showing the day July 17 on most platforms, but not all. So today we asked some of you to share your favorite emojis with us. Unsurprisingly, poop emoji was a popular choice. Plus side eye and eye roll seem like crowd favorites. I think I've seen you use the eye roll.
Side eye. Eye roll, usually when I'm talking to you.
Right. You use the shrug a lot.
Love the shrug, like, because that could mean a lot. That could be like, huh? It could mean like, what the heck are you talking about? It could be a lot of things.
That's why he uses it a lot with me.
It's very versatile.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
All right.
All right, still to come. A little seal gets a second chance at life thanks to a couple of lobstermen or lobsterman, who saved him from a fishing net. We'll have the details, and we'll talk to the guy who set him free coming up.
Oh, and we may be getting ready for some hot temperatures later this week. Keith will map it out next in his full forecast.
All right, kids, this might be the cutest video you see all day long. Jeremy Willie, who is a fourth-generation lobsterman, born and raised in Owl's Head. He was offshore lobstering about 10 to 12 miles below Matinicus Rock. He saw a seal pup floating in a rope. Now, his sternman, Jeffrey Dorr, pulled the seal aboard, and then Jeremy slowly and safely cut the little guy free.
Nervous, but the more I cut, the more I could feel him relax every time I would cut more and more strands. And we just kept working away. And honestly, both Jeff and I are completely shocked. So to get a reaction like that is pretty amazing. Like, you know, we definitely do live in a time where there's a lot of bad news on the television and the internet, like all the time, every day. And so it's pretty cool. I think that people are having such a good reaction to it. You know, it is nice to hear something good in the news once in a while. So yeah, we're both blown away. Everybody's blown away by the reaction. Never thought you know, that it would happen like that.
And at last check, the video had just under 500,000 views.
If you watch it too, you can see at the very end, once it goes back in the water, it kind of like turns and looks back.
It
like,
does.
Thank you.
If it had hands, it would like wave.
Yes, okay, so you guys were loving this story on social media. Pamela says, now that's how a true human being treats others. God bless you, sir.
Lorraine said, so happy the little guy was saved. So many sea animals die this way. Wish there was a better way of fishing.
Jamie said, thank you for saving this pup. And Robert, so awesome to see this.
Just a super feel-good story.
Yes.
And keeping with that theme, another rescue, this one in Old Orchard Beach.
Yeah, see, we're trying to bring the happy stories. A girl just hoping to ease the pain of death for one animal ultimately ended up giving it a second chance at life.
In a small park in Old Orchard Beach, a goodbye party of sorts.
Well, a lot of them are hit by cars.
2 weeks ago, Emma Fraser and her dog Bailey found an injured bird by the tennis courts.
He had a fractured beak, so he was bleeding out of his beak and his leg was fractured.
With broken bird in hand, Emma and Bailey went home.
Dad, there's a bird that's injured and I want to help it. As a father, when my daughter insisted that we do something, I, of course, went out and we did something.
That's something? Googling how to take care of an injured bird.
She took a little bag of warm water and put it in the box, and we covered the box and just draped a towel over it so it was dark. Hey, buddy.
And to their surprise, it actually looked better the next morning. So they took him to the Center for Wildlife for more rehabilitation.
And then 2 weeks later, they called me and they said, do you want to release him? I was like, of course I do.
Which brings us back to this party in the park.
There it goes. He's free.
Good job.
Wyatt Earp, the cowboy bird, has a second chance thanks to a young woman and her dog.
I just got him because I thought he was going to die, and I just wanted him to like be warm when he died. So to see him like actually fly away, like I did not think he was going to make it at all.
A lot of people would just say, forget it, it's a bird.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle. How sweet.
That was cute. Very nice.
All right, Lee, the big question.
I'm ready.
Would you rather blast the AC or drive with the windows down?
Windows down, always.
Okay.
Fresh
all right.
fresh air, always.
Some people think you can save money on gas by turning off the AC and opening the windows, but the opposite is actually true.
What? Okay, apparently while running the air conditioning in your vehicle does increase your fuel consumption, it's actually more efficient than if you drive with the windows down at highway speeds because, according to the Environmental Protection Agency, open windows increase the car's aerodynamic drag, which makes your car's engine work harder, which I guess makes sense, but I still would rather have fresh air over air conditioning.
Well, okay, so highway speeds though. So if you're going, little brain drops for you, if you're going like 40, 50?
I think, so Mythbusters did this actually a couple of years ago. I think the break-even point was around 30-something miles an hour.
30,
Under
okay.
that, you were better off with the windows down, and over that,
But if
up.
it's that hot where you have to have the AC on,
Right.
you need to be going fast in order to have
get
the
the-
windows
to get the
down
breeze.
because that's why you have the
Right.
breeze. If you're going 20, you might as well have
It's
the
not
AC
saving you
on,
any money.
so.
You'll definitely be more comfortable in general if it's hot, just using air conditioning. But
That's fair.
yeah,
Okay.
um,
Now we know.
which may actually segue us roughly, crudely,
Come on.
into the forecast because it's going to be
on.
pretty warm middle to late part of the week and very humid as well. Got some thunderstorms out there, pretty nasty line of them moving in through the mountains and coming out of New Hampshire. We have a severe warn system that's out of our viewing area, but we'll watch that. Meanwhile, this cell here that's to the north and east of Newry, and it's going to miss Rumford here, is not severe, but it has put down some hail, and you can see it's a tight little core there, probably indicating it's still putting down at least some small hail, and some small hail likely up here too in the mountains. A lot of lightning. You have to be very aware of this, particularly if you're in some of the higher terrain. This can get dangerous really fast, dragging its way in the direction at least of Eustis by later on tonight. Meanwhile, to the north, thunderstorms not quite as bad, but pretty cool. You can see that outflow boundary coming out of some of the more intense thunderstorms as they move to the north and east. So that's what's going on as far as precipitation. Along the coastline, I'm not concerned about these cells getting there. And temperatures are in the low 80s across the interior, 70s along the coastline, and some 60s in Rockland Bar Harbor. They had a little bit of a rough day, having a hard time clearing out from the fog. We'll see more of the showers and thunderstorms through the middle part of tonight. Tomorrow morning we start with fog and low cloudiness, much like we did today. We should be able to break that a bit through the middle part of the day, see some sunshine, which will lead to some more showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Wednesday morning we start with fog, but we get rid of that quickly. Wednesday looks like a good-looking day, but it will be mild. Temperatures in the upper 80s away from the coastline, particularly over southern and western parts of the state. Humidity is going to be a problem this week, and the way I broke it down, forget about the number exactly, but we're going to be very sticky tomorrow and Wednesday, and then into the really sticky, oppressive, or gross is what I put here on Thursday, staying sticky on Friday, and then back down on Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Unfortunately, this corresponds here with some of our warmest temperatures as well. So upper 80s across the interior plus the high dew points. It's going to feel pretty uncomfortable. Your inland forecast is going to be much different than your coastal forecast Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 87, 87, 87. And I could be talked into higher numbers than that across the interior, but trying to split the middle. And then the coastline, 83, 83, 84. So it's going to be much cooler there, no surprise. The weekend at this point looking split, but in the opposite direction that we've been recently, which is Saturday now looks a little bit better than Sunday. We've been on a Sunday kick for about 5 weekends.
Yeah, we have. All right, we'll take a little switcheroo there.
We're good.
Thanks, Keith.
Thank you.
All right, Main Strive for a Cure attracts more than 1,000 participants each year. All of the women are swimming, biking, running toward the same goal, to create a cancer-free state.
Yeah, but for one woman, this race will mean even more than that. As she approached the finish line of beating cancer, Jess Jordan tragically lost her mother, someone who was by her side throughout the entire fight. Now, Jess didn't give up, and as you'll see, she's certainly not giving up now. Competing in races is nothing new for Jess Jordan. The former Cape Elizabeth High School standout athlete has run in hundreds, but never before a triathlon. Her body is not what it once was after a year of cancer treatments, but her desire to compete is at an all-time high, fighting through a lot, both physically and mentally.
I spent so much time battling cancer in the last year, and when my mom died so tragically and so suddenly, I felt like I had put all my positive energy and focus into battling cancer. I didn't know how I was going to handle something this enormous and mourn a loss so great, because my mom and I were so close.
It was then that she stopped and thought about her mother, Mary Lee Jordan, searching for inspiration.
I realized that the state that I was in of not wanting to kind of get through the day and feeling as depressed and upset as I wasn't honoring my mom. That's not what she taught us. That's not how she raised us. She raised us to be positive and to be strong and to overcome things. And one of the things that she had said before she passed was, it's time to move forward.
She found another sign sent from her mother when she was reading a few old emails. She remembered that she had entered the lottery process for Try for a Cure, so went and checked her inbox and realized she had gotten in and wasted no time signing up.
I thought this would be a great focus that would support a cause that my mom was really passionate about. That's one thing she had talked about, was how we can pay it forward and put money towards funding. And so when I'm out running or biking or swimming, I feel like I'm doing it with my mom. and I feel like we're doing something together.
Jess doesn't want to just finish the race. She set high fundraising goals, in fact, record-setting goals, to keep her mother's legacy alive and well.
One thing she used to always say that was my favorite thing my mom would say is, you know, it's actually kind of selfish because I love the feeling of giving. And so I do it because I like the feeling of giving to others. And I always thought that was such a wonderful thing for my mom to say, because she didn't even know, she was so giving, she didn't even know the definition of what selfish was. And that there was no exception for when I was diagnosed. My mom did everything she could to get me through that and to help our family during a time of crisis. You know, I know a lot of it's because of the memory of my mother and because of how many people she touched. And so I just feel like this is a way to stay connected to her and to fulfill what was so important to her.
And we certainly wish Jess and everybody who's going to be taking part this weekend the best of luck, the inspirations, all of them. Everybody's got a great story. It's such a great event, and God bless them and good for them. So.
Always such an impressive event in general,
Absolutely.
but to hear these stories, it really hits home.
Hey, we got more stories at 5:30. Look
Rob
at that.
Caldwell's
Look who's here.
here.
Coming up on News Center at 5:30, actor and philanthropist Patrick Dempsey is back in his home state right now. He had a big announcement to make today regarding the future of the Dempsey Center, the organization that he created to help care for people who have cancer or are being affected by cancer in any way. We'll tell you what that announcement was all about. And a couple interrupted a Garth Brooks concert, but for a very interesting reason. You'll see why Garth didn't mind the interruption, the fans didn't mind the interruption, and you'll see how it worked out very nicely for the couple who actually interrupted the show. Those stories and more all ahead on News Center at 5:30.
All right,
We'll look for that. News Center Now continues after the break.
All right, today's Brain Drops, nothing crazy scientific, but some really interesting weather news that occurred over the weekend. This is Chile, and it snows there often in the mountains, but not in their big cities. And Santiago got enough snow that they had 280,000 people without power in the city. And there it is. It's really stunning, very unusual. Last time it happened was over 10 years ago. And so it kind of falls in the same category of if southern Georgia, parts of Mississippi saw snow. It's in that statistical ballpark.
Wow. In July, no less. I mean,
well, keep in mind it's a different hemisphere.
Right.
So yeah, so it's winter there, so that's okay.
But snow still.
But let me show you this map and show you how this is all working out. They have volcanic peaks that are about 20,000 feet in through here along the border. Those often see snow, but then when you drop down towards the coastline, it almost never happens. So really interesting. And this whole area, Patagonia area, has some of the craziest weather in the world. If you get a chance to
Clearly.
get out there.
Yeah.
It's worth it. So, I thought that was cool. Expense that trip.
Let's go. Raindrops.
It's like
we
a
gotta go.
13-hour flight. Shouldn't be that expensive.
We'll go.
Let's do it. All right. News Center at 5:30 starts right now.